A boy who once lived in a small house and was thrown out of his village, whose father was accused of serious crimes, grew up to own 80 mansions worth over $600 million today. His father remarried and left his mother in poverty. Yet as a child, he declared, "I will live for 100 years and earn $100,000. He became so wealthy that his annual income grew from $3,000 to over $40 million. This poor boy made so much money in his lifetime that his net worth at its peak was equivalent to 3% of the US GDP. We are talking about the world's first billionaire, John D. Rockefeller. His net worth in today's value would be around $410 billion, enough to buy some of the world's largest corporations multiple times over. At its peak, Rockefeller's company controlled 90% of the world's oil supply. To put that in perspective, today's largest oil company, Saudi Aramco, worth around $2 trillion, controls only about 12% of the world's oil supply. Not only did Rockefeller earn immense wealth, but he also donated more money than he made, giving away billions of dollars to various causes. From his first paycheck to his last days, a significant portion of his income went to charity. Despite this, many people hated him, claiming that he destroyed businesses, caused job losses, and was responsible for the financial ruin of many. The public resentment was so intense that US President Theodore Roosevelt eventually broke up his company into 35 separate entities. Early life and career beginnings. But why did people hate someone who donated so much money? John D. Rockefeller was born in 1839 in a poor household in New York. His father, William Rockefeller, was a conman who pretended to be a doctor, selling fake medicines and even claiming to cure cancer. This deceitful practice earned him a fortune. Without informing his family, he secretly married another woman and often disappeared for months. As a result, John and his mother frequently struggled to afford even basic necessities. His father was also accused of assaulting a young woman, which led to widespread disgrace for the Rockefeller family. At the age of 14, John had to leave his home, village, and school, relocating to Cleveland, Ohio. John quickly realized that he had to earn money for his mother, but when he started searching for a job at such a young age, people mocked him. After 6 weeks of relentless searching, he finally landed his first job on September 26, 1855, a day he celebrated every year as Job Day. His monthly salary was just $50. One day, John witnessed an event that shaped his future. His employer received a payment check and locked it in his safe. Curious, John secretly opened the safe and saw the amount, $350,000, a staggering figure at the time. From that moment, he believed he was destined to be rich. Business ventures and rise to power. He decided to start his own business and become as wealthy as his employer. John built a strong reputation through his work ethic and honesty. By the age of 18, people already addressed him as Mr. Rockefeller. Trust in him was so high that people willingly lent him money. With funding from others and his own savings, he partnered with a friend, Maurice Clark, to establish their first trading company, Clark and Rockefeller, which profited by purchasing and selling goods. When the American Civil War began in 1861, the prices of goods and commissions skyrocketed, and their company earned $4.5 million in a single year. At the time, U.S. law required all able citizens to serve in the war. However, Rockefeller feared that if he died, his dream of becoming rich would perish. So, he paid the government a substantial amount to send someone else in his place. During this period, John met Samuel Andrews, who owned an oil refinery. Rockefeller invested $4,000 in his business, and together, they discovered a secret that made them immensely wealthy. At the time, electricity had not yet been invented, so people used oil lamps for lighting. Whale fat was the primary fuel, but hunting whales was becoming difficult, reducing profits. However, Rockefeller and Andrews learned that crude oil had recently been discovered in America, and when refined, it could produce kerosene, which was a more efficient fuel for lamps. With kerosene's skyrocketing demand, Rockefeller and Andrews made millions in just a few weeks. Realizing the potential, Rockefeller decided to focus solely on the oil business. The oil industry was highly competitive, and Rockefeller understood that to dominate, he had to eliminate his competition. He partnered with Henry Flagler, a ruthless businessman who taught him the art of destroying rivals. Together, they bankrupted several competitors, forcing many out of business, and even drove some to despair. By the 1870s, oil transportation relied on three major railroad companies, Pennsylvania Railroad, Erie Railway, and New York Central Railroad. Since all oil companies depended on these railroads, the Pennsylvania Railroad decided to shut down its Cleveland line, spreading rumors that the city's oil industry was collapsing. Panicked, several oil companies moved their businesses elsewhere, but Rockefeller saw an opportunity. Instead of relocating, he struck secret deals with the Erie and New York Central Railways. He promised them consistent business in exchange for discounts of up to 75%. With these secret discounts, Rockefeller drastically lowered his oil prices, forcing competitors to cut their prices as well. Unable to match his rates, many went bankrupt. His goal was not just to dominate the industry, but to control it entirely. He then approached Pennsylvania Railroad and, along with the other two railroads, formed a secret alliance called the South Improvement Company. The agreement granted Rockefeller a 50% discount on oil transportation, while competitors paid full price. Additionally, competitors' transportation details were shared with him, giving him an unfair advantage. This secret deal crushed competitors, leaving them unable to pay wages or survive. Public outrage and legacy. Eventually, the alliance was exposed, sparking public outrage. Protests erupted, and angry mobs even tore up railroad tracks. For the first time, Rockefeller's dark secrets were revealed, and he was now seen as a villain. Facing immense pressure, he disbanded the secret alliance, but he had already learned how to manipulate industries. From that point on, Rockefeller no longer operated in secrecy. He openly pursued complete control over the oil industry, using aggressive strategies to drive out competitors. His monopoly became so powerful that the U.S. government had to intervene, eventually breaking up Standard Oil in 1911. Despite his controversial methods, John D. Rockefeller's legacy remains a mix of ruthless business tactics and unparalleled philanthropy. His wealth and influence shaped modern capitalism, making him one of the most powerful figures in American history.